In this problem, we're asked to find the domain of the radical function f of x equals the square root of 45 minus 5x. Well, remember, how do we find the domain of a square root function? Because we want real numbers into the function and we want to get real numbers out, to find the domain of a square root function, we have to set the radicand to be greater than or equal to 0. What that means is this guy, the radicand, is the thing that lives under the square root sign. So we want to say 45 minus 5x has to be greater than or equal to 0. As long as that is true, when we find the square root of this number, it will be a real number. So this is a linear inequality. How do we solve that? Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to get x's on one side and numbers on the other. So I get negative 5x is greater than or equal to negative 45. Now be very careful. When you solve an inequality and you have to divide by a negative number, it reverses the inequality symbol. So I'm going to have negative 5x divided by negative 5 instead of greater than or equal to is less than or equal to negative 45 divided by negative 5. And so now I'm going to get x is less than or equal to negative 45 divided by negative 5 is positive 9. So I'm going to get x is less than or equal to 9. And we need to write that in interval notation. Well, let's think about it. Here is 9 on my number line, and I need to be less than. So it needs to be everything to the left of the 9. And how do we write that in interval notation? Our interval starts at negative infinity and goes up to positive 9. Put a square bracket on it so it can include 9. So we've now found the domain of this radical function. Just one thing to note, if this had been positive 5x is greater than or equal to something, that would have been a lot easier. When you divide both sides of an inequality by a positive number, it does not reverse the inequality symbol.